nice. There we go. Nice rainbow trout. Whoa. Oh, I forgot to get some. Oh well. So, but anywho, this is another episode of G-Man Fishing. I've got sad news. We just, we just buried my brother, or my son. Unfortunately, he took his own life the other day. But we're doing what we can to honor him, and he liked to fish, and so here we are. It's been a hard holiday. It's a couple days after the holiday, but so anywho, there's a fish on G-Man Fishing, and rest in peace, son. Rest in peace. So we're using a jig, and we're using a bobber, and we're doing a jig and bobber float for stillhead down here. I'm fishing about 3 feet below the bobber, and we're not throwing way out there all the time. It's like I've always said, when you're stillhead fishing, you don't have to throw way out there all the time. And so is what's going to happen is you're just going to keep letting line out as it's drifting. That way you can drift a long way, and so that way your bobber and your jig stays in the water as much as possible, and then you just let out line until either you're done drifting, you think that you're done drifting, or your bobber goes under and you got a fish on, or you got a snag, whichever be the case. But you're just throwing it out there and letting it do its thing, and hoping like heck when it goes under you got a fish on. That's not always the case. It just bounced under right there. I must be hitting some weeds or some rocks. But just letting it drift down there. You see, I'm throwing in the deep stuff, and then I'm drifting down into the shallow stuff, and see. So, and you kind of want to get it to where it's not bouncing off the rocks, but you want it right there at the rock level when you're doing it. And I don't do a lot of jig videos. I do jig and bobber fishing. I just don't know. And then this time I'm casting a little bit further out there, just to give you an idea of what I'm doing. And then doing the exact same thing. We're gonna let it drift down as far as it'll go until it stops to where I feel like I've drifted long enough, and just gonna keep doing that. So you just throw out there a little further. Hope like heck in the deep stuff you're deep enough actually to get to where you're in front of a stillhead. It's like right now I'm drifting from shallow to deep. If I was to move up river 50-60 yards, I'd be throwing about 6 feet deep instead of 3 feet deep while I'm doing this. But because I'm trying to fish some of the shallower stuff for stillhead as well as the deep stuff, I'm only going 3 feet deep at this point. And so, and I keep hitting rocks because my bobber keeps bouncing up and down. And usually when you get a fish on, it'll just stay down, and it won't bounce back up when you're in the river. It'll just boom and stay down. So it's just one of the different ways. And this bobber, you can move it up the line, down the line. I also like using a slip bobber with braid, to where I've got monofilament and then I got braid, and so I'll just use the monofilament for the lure or the jig, and then I'll have however deep I think I want to fish, that long of a leader from the braid to the monofilament with the uni knot, and the uni knot acts as my float stop, so I don't have to have a float stop. And so that way I can do it that way too and use a slip bobber. But right now I just decided to use a stationary bobber. You have to move it up and down by hand to the depth you think that the fish are going to be at. So, and then there's a variety of jigs that'll work. I just so happen to be using the peach and white, or orange and white, whatever color you want to call it. So this time I cast it further out there, and I'm just going to do the exact same thing and just watch for my bobber to go under, because you never know when it's going to go under. Usually if it goes under in the deep stuff, it's a fish. A lot of times in the shallow stuff, it's usually the bottom, but you do catch steelhead in that shallow water too. So you want to make sure that you fish the deep stuff and you fish the shallow stuff. That way, you know, you're fishing the river effectively and you're covering as much water as possible, and hopefully catching more steelhead. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. I hooked a steelhead earlier on a panther martin and lost him, so you guys will see that. It'll be before this, but just trying different things, trying to get a fish for you guys. And yeah, this is the video where you know, I tell you about my son and everything, and so it's hard to be out here fishing, but I know by doing this I'm respecting my son, because he loved to fish. Well, welcome back to another episode of G-Man Fishing. We're down here on the Deschutes River. Steelhead fishing, white fishing, whatever bites. I would say exciting, but I don't know how exciting it's going to be. Fill you guys in on a little information. We just buried my son a couple days ago. Committed suicide. Been a hard holidays. My daughter's taking it pretty hard. Girlfriend of his that's got his kid taking it hard. It's just been a really hard time. We're gonna try and get you out a video, and we'll just see what happens. All I gotta say is rest in peace, son. We love you. You'll be missed. And we pray that you're in a better place. So, we're going to start off throwing some panther martins and some steelies. We'll probably do some jig and bobber fishing today, and maybe even a little bit of fishing for whitefish. So, might be one video, might be two videos. Don't know right now. Haven't started fishing. We're hoping to catch a couple steelhead for y'all. Maybe some whitefish, I don't know. But this is really a hard time, having to go through all this, especially during the holidays when it's supposed to be happy and thankful. And don't get me wrong, we're truly thankful, and we're blessed by God to have had my son for as long as we had him. So hopefully it won't be too hard, and I'll be able to get back to doing some fishing and making videos for you guys. So, G-Man out for now. Alright, we got a fish on. I don't know what it is, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Oh, he come off. No. A heartbreak.